All right, here we are again. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to start doing something that I wanted to do for a while, which is taking songs that I found something really interesting in, either harmonically or rhythmically, and just doing these. I want to use the word deep dives, but they wouldn't really be deep. I mean, it will be looking at one part deeply. Over the past year or more, I've gotten really obsessed with rhythm specifically. I've been teaching myself how to drum, realizing that every instrument there is, whether it's your voice, whether it's a saxophone, you are a drummer. You need to be thinking rhythmically. You need to be able to swing. You need to be able to do complex syncopations. If someone were to ask you to play quintuplets or sing quintuplets, you should be able to do that. By saying should, I make it sound like there are rules. Obviously, if you can't do that yet and don't ever want to learn to do that, that's your prerogative. I'm just saying, for me, if you're trying to achieve the ultimate knowledge of everything, skill of everything in music, then that would fall under that blanket. Now, because I've become so interested in rhythm, I wanted to go back to one of the first songs that really got me, it really blew my mind about rhythms and what we can do with them. Since then, I've noticed many other songs that maybe are even more complex than the one that we're going to go into, but it's a good place to start in the beginning. The song is No Signal by CHON off of their album Homie. I'm going to first explain the song in words. Then I'm going to show the song on my DAW. I'm going to use MIDI as a visual so that you can hear and see at the same time. And then third, it is possible that I might actually do just a paper drawing of some sort so you can watch my hands work it out. Sometimes that helps people, especially if you don't have much experience working in a DAW. The grid there may just confuse you more than help you. So I'm going to try a few different approaches. So for the first approach, just explaining it, what is 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 5? You should be saying 32. So 32 divided in half is 16, divided in half is 8, divided in half again is 4. In the world of rhythm, if we just double our playing speed, we can turn 4 into 8, into 16, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, into 30 seconds would be the next division there. So we should realize by that 30 seconds can be divided into 4 sets of 8, and that we can think of each of those 8 as 4 if we want. This would be in music what we call duple meter. Even though the 9s are odd and the 5 is odd, adding it all together we end up back at duple meter, just an even pulse. So the trick of this is that it allows the drummer at a certain point, while he's following 9995, he's also able to suddenly switch seamlessly into just a 4/4 groove, and everything lines back up again at the beginning. And that totally blew my mind when I learned about this. In the beginning of the song, the guitar begins playing a pattern that is 9995, and we might write this as 916, because it is quite fast. It's faster than I can count. I can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It would be too fast to count. Maybe with a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. But even then, I can't really do it fast enough. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. So the guitar begins with this 9995 pattern, and then when everybody comes in, the drums are accentuating that pattern as well. The trick doesn't happen until well into a minute into the song. You're in what I would consider like a verse type part, and then suddenly it jumps into this new part here, and your mind is confused as to how the drums switched and why it's all working, but it in a way sounds a little off, but you don't know why. There's more intricacies to this as well. There are parts where the kick still is hitting the 999 part while the hands are in 4/4. So he's still accentuating the downbeats for the guitar, kind of helping it out, kind of fusing the two together in a way. There are also parts where one of the 9s is played as a 10. He just delays his hit so that it feels like 9 9 10 4 instead of 9 9 9 5. We'll also look at that in the DAW. Alright, on to the second. So now we're here in the DAW. We can see I've got my audio laid out. I have not quantized anything. I've not stretched anything. I'm just laying markers purely so you can see where certain heavy downbeats lie. Let's listen to just the song itself first. That's the main part there. So adding the drums in, let's take a look here. We got the 9, we've got the next 9, we got the next 9, and then we've got 5 here at the end. The reds are all the 1s, or the downbeats. This allows you to count it. Okay, so hopefully that gets that across. Now, we're going on to a new chord. Here's the part where they actually do 9, 9, 10, 4. Kind of changes it a little bit on this one. And we can see that right here. It's just a little delay. Yeah. Okay, so then here we're going into the change. So you can actually watch me build this and match it up here. So first thing I gotta do is actually turn these back to green again. We don't want them accentuated. Now we can, of course, accentuate the first one. Okay, then we should have 8s now. So actually, I just choose based on these grid lines and turn those up. Turn these up. Now, obviously, the kicks have to be placed on the 1. Now, we should have something like it here. So let's place the snares. But if you'll notice, actually right here, right before one of these snare hits happens, is he actually doesn't put the kick here, but he puts it here. And the reason is because if we had played 9 and then 9 again, this would actually be where the kick lands in the guitar part. This is where the downbeat is. So he wants to displace his kick a little bit just to make sure it's accentuating the downbeat with the guitars. Even though it's not necessarily the downbeat, it's the upbeat in his part. So let me just play the whole portion, the whole change-up portion of the track without the drums for you. You can just hear the song itself. Here we go. And so just to try to show it another way here. So the main pattern, we got our first 9. We have our second 9. We have our third 9. All that's left is 5 more beats. So we can call this the 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 5 pattern. Let me also highlight the 1s. So there we go. Now we can see 9, 9, 9, 5. That is the main pattern. Drums are playing. Everyone's following this pattern. But as we said, if we add all those together, equals 32 over 32, which is reducible to 16 over 16, 8 over 8, 4, 4. Let me now draw out, along with it, the drum pattern. Alright, not the most beautiful thing in the world, But now that ride cymbal that it was hitting, he's playing the ride cymbal bell in a pattern that goes 8 times every loop, which in order to do that out of 32, that would be 1 every 4 32nds. So three, one more, 3 left over, perfect to start right back over. So this is actually the pattern of the bell of the ride during the song. So for a final thought or a takeaway, it just makes us think, how else can we divide up, say, 32 or 16? Like in your own music, begin thinking about it this way. When drummers do fills, it's often boring to do 4 4 4 equals 16. Right? So instead, if you want to get out of that, you might start doing 3 3 3 3 4. Like that's maybe your traditional herda kind of pattern, but there's many ways to play herdas. You might do say 5 5 5 1. That could be another way to break it up. You could do 7 7 2. These are different ways of representing 16. There's a lot of songs where instead of playing 4 and 4 to equal 8, you might represent it instead as 5 and 3. So you have one shorter chord, one longer chord. Something like that. Another way to break up 8 and make it not sound so monotonous. Now if we were to do our own 32, what could we come up with here? Let me choose some here. So here I've got 7 11 7 7. That could be a way of breaking it up, and you could even look at it further of how do you want to break up 11, you know, maybe that in itself is 7 and 4 or something along those lines. So what you realize after a while is that every number is basically either broken down into a 2 or a 3. Like I could represent this as 4 and 3, but I could represent this 7 as 3 and 4. These downbeats, these accents just give you different ways of expressing 7. And is good to keep in mind when you're writing your own music. I always, in all these videos, I want to find what do we want to take away from these ideas and how can we use it in our own music. We can grab this up like a card catalog and store it in our brain. All right, until the next one.